Book Summary: The 4-Hour Work Week. The 4-Hour Work Week by Timothy Ferriss teaches us practical methods to escape the 9-to-5 trap and create a lifestyle of freedom and fulfillment. The book emphasizes the importance of outsourcing, automation, and prioritizing tasks that genuinely matter to create a life of freedom and possibilities. Create that life now. Just read below. The 4-Hour Work Week book is written by Timothy Ferriss, an American writer, educational activist, and entrepreneur. This book was part of the New York Times bestseller list for over 4 years. He got this idea while working for 14 hours a day. Frustrated by the overwork and lack of free time, Ferriss took a 3-week sabbatical to Europe. The genesis of the book was his escape from a workaholic lifestyle. In the 4-Hour Work Week, you will discover powerful techniques to increase your time and financial freedom, enabling you to enjoy a range of lifestyle options. By automating passive income streams and liberating yourself from unproductive tasks, you can embrace the new rich lifestyle, a life characterized by having, doing, and being what you truly desire. This book is an indispensable resource for individuals interested in working for themselves and establishing a sustainable work-life balance. Introduction. The 4-Hour Work Week revolves around breaking free from the monotonous 9-to-5 trap and allowing yourself to work from anywhere while achieving remarkable success. Contrary to working longer hours, the book emphasizes the importance of working smarter and reducing hours while attaining equal, if not superior, results. By implementing the strategies outlined in this book, you can revolutionize your work habits and unlock a world of possibilities while maintaining your productivity and effectiveness. Embrace the principles of the 4-Hour Work Week and embark on a journey towards liberation from the traditional work grind. Discover how to optimize your time, enhance your financial prospects, and establish a life where work is not a hindrance but a means to pursue your passions. Whether you are an aspiring entrepreneur or a corporate professional seeking a better work-life equilibrium, this book is an invaluable guide that will empower you to create a fulfilling and flexible lifestyle that aligns with your goals and aspirations. Let's begin. Step 1. Definition. Before we dive into what you need to do to increase your time and financial freedom, Tim Ferriss summarizes the process you'll go through as a 4-step process. Deal. D for definition. Essentially, you must define what you will do and understand the rules. E for elimination. Next, you will reset and eliminate the unnecessary. A for automation. Next up is the time to automate everything possible. This may include outsourcing. L for liberation. Finally, the part where you go out and live it. Money is multiplied in practical value depending on the number of W's you control, what you do when, where, and with whom you do it. Tim calls this the freedom multiplier. You have options and the ability to choose, and Tim emphasizes that this is a real power within you. If you can follow Tim's simple steps, you'll see what you can achieve with minimum effort and cost. And the reality is that Tim believes you can make much more money by doing much less than you currently are. The rules. Retirement is worst-case scenario insurance. Planning for retirement should not be part of your plan. The idea is that your work should be so enjoyable and achievable that you can continue to work without retirement. Interest and energy are cyclical. The best way to maintain your lifestyle is to have alternating rest periods and work/activity. Plan mini retirements throughout your life. When you are in a work cycle, you'll work at your full potential, then allow yourself the rest required when you have a break. Less is not laziness. People assume that by doing less, you are lazy. Society stereotypes those that work harder and longer hours as better. This is not true. You can work less and still be as successful. The timing always needs to be corrected. It will never feel like the right time to do the essential things in your life. Are you quitting a job, having a baby, or moving house? You can't continue to put these things off until the time is right, because that time may never come. Ask for forgiveness, not permission. This one is key. You must learn from your mistakes to grow. Don't allow other people to say no or deny you an opportunity. Give it a go first, and apologize if it doesn't work. Emphasize strengths, don't fix weaknesses. Muscles are more powerful and have more of an impact on your life than your weaknesses ever will. Don't try and fix all your minor defects. Improve your strengths, as this is where the results are. Improving a weakness may only bring mediocrity, whereas improving upon a power can bring greatness. Things in excess become their opposite. There is such a thing as too much of a good thing. Remember this, as they become a burden eventually. Money alone is not the solution. As per the previous point, more money is needed. The answer is only sometimes money. Relative income is more important than absolute income. Relative income uses two variables, the dollar and time, usually hour. In this book, the author suggests that distress is bad. Grief will only bring you down, making you weaker and less confident. Anyone who fires criticism at you or is abusive is only causing you pain. Find the people who are positive role models, who push you and help you grow. Fear. Ferriss explains that most people avoid fear and pretend it's something else altogether. They deny the fear and remain optimistic. Tim uses the example of someone who is unhappy but avoids quitting their job. They will continue to deny their unhappiness and remain confident that their work will improve in time or their income will increase. Fear comes in many forms, and we usually don't call it by its four-letter name. However, fear itself is quite fear-inducing. Tim suggests you take the following steps to eliminate your fear of the unknown and allow yourself to leap. 1. Face your nightmare and define what it is exactly. Consider what is the absolute worst thing that could happen. Define the worst-case scenario. 2. Identify how to fix or repair the worst-case scenario. 3. Define the temporary or permanent benefits and likely outcomes of the scenario you are considering. 4. Ask yourself, if you were fired today, how would you manage your finances from here? 5. Identify what you are putting off or avoiding out of fear. 6. By avoiding these things, is it costing you? Whether this be financial, emotional, or physical. What are you waiting for? Reset and eliminate. Tim uses the concept of dreamlining over simply goal setting. It's exactly what it sounds like, considering your dreams and planning to fulfill them. Tim explains that dreamlining is different from goal setting in 3 significant ways. 1. The goals shift from ambiguous wants to defined steps. 2. The goals have to be unrealistic to be effective. 3. It focuses on activities that fill the vacuum created when work is removed. Living like a millionaire requires doing interesting things, not just owning enviable things. Tim's Guide to Creating Your Dream Life. What would you do if there were no way you could fail? If you were 10 times smarter than the rest of the world? Have 2 separate timelines, one short-term, example, 6 months, and one longer-term, 12 months. With these timelines, you need to add 5 things you dream about, whether it be something you dream about having, being, or doing. Are you drawing a blank? If this hasn't inspired you, consider what you would do if you had 100 crore. How would this affect your dreams? And what is it that would make you excited to wake up in the morning? What does being entail? Convert each being into a doing to make it actionable. Identify an action that would characterize this state of being or a task that would mean you had achieved it. What are the 4 dreams that would change it all? Identify 4 key goals and consider how they would change your life. Determine the cost of these dreams and calculate your target monthly income, TMI, for both timelines. We put this into action and consider your income, expenses, and monthly cash flow. Come up with your TMI, target monthly income, that is required to realize your dreams. And then, when you have your monthly figure, divide this by 30, this is now your TDII, target daily income. Determine 3 steps for each of the 4 dreams in the 6-month timeline and take the first step now. Break the dreams down and start acting upon them immediately. You must take this first step to start turning your dreams into reality. Step 2, Elimination. 1. Effectiveness and efficiency. Tim explains the differences between being effective and being efficient. To be effective is to act in a way that helps you reach your goals. And to be efficient is to act upon any given task in the most productive way possible. The problem, Tim explains, is that the default approach is often efficient without regard to effectiveness. So it's critical to understand that doing something unimportant but very well does not, by default, make it essential. And similarly, spending a lot of time on a specific task does not make it necessary either. 2 laws to consider. Pareto's Law. 80% of the outputs result from 20% of the inputs, 80% of the consequences flow from 20% of the causes, 80% of the results come from 20% of the effort and time, 80% of company profits come from 20% of the products and customers, 80% of all stock market gains are realized by 20% of the investors and 20% of an individual portfolio. Parkinson's Law. Parkinson's Law dictates that a task will swell in perceived importance and complexity about the time allotted for its completion. It is the magic of the imminent deadline. If I give you 24 hours to complete a project, the time pressure forces you to focus on execution, and you have no choice but to do only the bare essentials. On the other hand, if I give you a week to complete the same task, it's 6 days of making a mountain out of a molehill. Tim explains that from this, you can approach increasing productivity in one of 2 ways. And interestingly, these approaches are technically opposites. Limit tasks to the important ones to shorten work time, 80/20ths. Shorten work time to limit charges to the important, Parkinson's Law. Tim explains that your best approach is using both concepts together. And the best way to do this is to identify a few tasks that are both critical and will contribute to the majority of your income. Then, schedule these tasks with clear deadlines, and dedicate little time to them. Ask yourself the following questions. 1. What would you do if you had a heart attack and had to work 2 hours per day? 2. What if you had a second heart attack and had to work 2 hours per week? What would you do? 3. What would you remove if you had a gun to your head and had to stop doing 4/5 of different time-consuming activities? 4. What are the top 3 activities that I use to fill time to feel as though I've been productive? 5. Who are the 20% of people who produce 80% of your enjoyment and propel you forward, and which 20% cause 80% of your depression, anger, and second-guessing? 6. If this is the only thing I accomplish today, will I be satisfied with my day? 7. Are you inventing things to do to avoid the important ones? 2. Remain ignorant. We've all heard the phrase ignorance is bliss before, and Tim firmly believes that ignorance is blissful and can also be practical. It is imperative that you learn to ignore or redirect all information and interruptions that are irrelevant, unimportant, or unactionable. 3. Interruptions. Tim identifies 3 interruptions that often get in the way of the start-to-finish completion of any given task. Time wasters. Time wasters include meetings, phone calls, internet surfing, emails, and discussions. These can, more often than not, be ignored with minimal consequences. Tim has a few tips to avoid time wasters as much as possible. Email is almost certainly the most significant interruption in the workplace. Minimize the emails you send and read. Make sure the sound and notification of emails are turned off. Try only checking your email 2 times a day. Tim suggests first at noon and again at 4 p.m. This timing will ensure you have the most responses from previously sent emails. Screen any phone calls you receive. You don't have to answer them all. And limit the phone calls you make. Tim suggests you have 2 phone numbers. One can be used as your office line, and your cell phone number can only be reserved for urgent calls. Most issues in work-related communication are not urgent at all. Steer your colleagues, clients, etc. to the following order of communication: email first, then phone, and finally in person. If someone has left you a voicemail, reply to this via email when possible. This will help teach people the best way to reach you. Meetings should only be held to decide about a predefined situation, not to define the problem. If you cannot stop a meeting or call from happening, define the start and end times. Ensure you only discuss a prearranged topic and avoid getting sidetracked. Time consumers. Time consumers are the second of Tim's most common interruptions. These can be defined as repetitive tasks that need to be completed regularly. These are the little tasks that interrupt the start-to-finish workflow of a job. Expected time consumers include reading emails, replying to emails, talking on the phone, doing customer service tasks, reporting finances or sales, errands, personal tasks, Regular manual updates. Anything that gets repeated frequently. Tim points out that whenever a task is interrupted, psychologically, it can take up to 45 minutes to resume that task. Stats suggest that these interruptions consume 28% of your 9 to 5 working days. The best approach to combat these time wasters is to wait until you have many tasks. E.g., wait until you have plenty of emails to read and reply to or multiple phone calls to make. This approach is called batching and is a great solution to let these tasks interrupt more extensive, more critical work. Empowerment failures. Empowerment failures are the third critical interruption in cases where your approval is required for something to happen when someone has to come to you before they can take the next step in their task. Or if you have to go to someone else before you can proceed with a job. If people you work with can only complete a task from start to finish without receiving permission or further information, it becomes a case of empowerment failures. As an employee, to be able to work as seamlessly as possible means having access to required information and having the ability to make as many decisions as possible. As an entrepreneur, for everything to run as smoothly as possible, you should provide your employees/contractors with as much information as necessary and allow them to make decisions without first asking permission. If you feel you are in a position where you are being micromanaged, sit down with your boss and explain to them why you have more access to information and the ability to make decisions will benefit you both by allowing you to be more productive and for your boss to have fewer interruptions. 4. Set the rules in your favor. Limit access to your time, force people to define their requests before spending time with them, and batch routine menial tasks to prevent postponing more critical projects. Do not let people interrupt you. Find your focus, and you'll find your lifestyle. Step 3. Automation. Tim recommends getting a remote personal assistant when the time is right. It means you can offload some of your work to them, it frees up your time to work on other things and allows you to practice giving orders. In addition, it helps to set you up as a leader. It's time you learn to be the boss. Deciding when to hire a remote personal assistant should be easy. It's not time-consuming, low cost, and low risk. Even if you don't think you need one yet, get one. It's an opportunity for you to explore this way of working. But what about the cost? Tim identifies a question that most people ask themselves: if I can do it better? Tim explains that it's not about the money but freeing up your time, allowing yourself to be creative and innovative rather than being caught up in mundane daily tasks. Tim explains that you shouldn't ever automate something that could be eliminated. And don't delegate if the task can be automated. It's not about wasting other people's time. Their time is just as valuable as yours. Where to begin? Hire an assistant, regardless of whether or not you need one right now. Identify which tasks on your to-do list have been sitting there the longest. And identify any charges you currently do that could be done by a virtual assistant. Is this where a VA could come in whenever you are interrupted or frustrated? Identify your top 5 time-consuming non-work tasks and 5 personal tasks you could assign for fun. It's critical to synchronize your work and share calendars and schedules so you know what's going on. Autopilot. Tim discusses the next stage. You need a product to sell. Something that's either downloadable or shippable to help you eliminate the limitations of a per-hour-based model. The first thing Tim suggests you do is pick an affordably reachable, friendly market. It's much easier to tap into a current market. Creating demand from scratch is hard. Wait to start with a product, then look for a customer. First, find the market, understand the customer, and create a product for them. Identify what you already know. Look at what social/professional/industry groups you belong to or have access to. You don't have to learn something new. Identify which groups you have access to have their magazines/blogs. Tim's next step is to brainstorm. Do not invest in products. The main benefit should be encapsulated in one sentence. It should cost the customer $50, $200. Aim for an 8-10x markup, which means a $100 product should not cost more than $10, $12.50. It should take no more than 3 to 4 weeks to manufacture. It should be fully explainable in an excellent online FAQ. Option 1, resell a product. Option 2, license a product. Option 3, create a product. Information products are low cost, fast to manufacture, and time-consuming for competitors to duplicate. Testing. To get an accurate indicator of commercial viability, don't ask people if they would buy, ask them to buy. The third step is to microtest your products. Identify the competition. It's your job to create a more compelling offer than what's currently out there. All you need is a simple website, just 1 to 3 pages, which correlates to 1 to 3 hours of work. Things to consider to make your offer better than the competition are more credibility indicators. Testimonials, a better guarantee, better selection, and free shipping. Test the offer using short Google AdWords advertising campaigns, 3 hours to set up and 5 days of passive observation. Divest or invest, identify the losers, cut them out, manufacture the winner, and prepare for sales. Absent management. One of the critical steps in Tim's process is that once you have a product, physical or online, you need to design your business in a way that it can run itself. This diagram should be your rough blueprint for designing an autonomous virtual architecture. Contract outsourcing companies that specialize in one function versus freelancers whenever possible so that you can replace them if someone is fired, quits, or doesn't perform without interrupting your business. Hire trained groups of people who can provide detailed reporting and replace one another as needed. Ensure that all outsourcers are willing to communicate among themselves to solve problems, and give them written permission to make the most inexpensive decisions without consulting you first. I started at less than $100 and moved to $400 after 2 months. Step 4, Liberation. Now, go live your life. Follow Tim's 5 steps to gravitate toward full-time remote work. 1. Increase investment. Get the company to invest in training so the cost of losing you is more significant. 2. Prove increased output off-site. Call in sick, work from home and make it a productive day. 3. Prepare the quantifiable business benefit. Prepare your results to show the measurable benefit you gain from working at home. 4. Propose a revocable trial period. Start with 1 day a week. 5. Expand remote time. Gradually work up to multiple days at home per week. Then eventually, full-time remote work. Quitting. The book's author said, "I have quit 3 jobs and been fired for most of the rest." Getting fired, despite sometimes coming as a surprise and leaving you scrambling to recover, is often a godsend. Someone else makes the decision for you, and it's impossible to sit in the wrong job for the rest of your life. Tim emphasizes that quitting or being fired isn't the end of the world. It's not permanent. Quitting a job doesn't mean you'll never have another job again. It's temporary. You will still be able to pay your bills. The objective of Tim's process is that you will have some cash flow prior to quitting your current job. You may need to eliminate some unnecessary spending in the short term, but your bills will still be paid if you've done it right. Your resume is only reigned for a while. It's a point of difference on your resume, and you may get more interviews simply because you stand out from the crowd. Mini retirements. Tim tries to break the common assumption that you must wait until your career ends to embrace retirement. Instead, he suggests taking mini retirements throughout your life rather than saving it all up for the end. Tim recommends that you relocate your life somewhere new for anywhere from 1 month to 6 months before you return to your home. The idea is that it's not a holiday or an escape from your life, but just the continuation of your life in a new environment, an opportunity to assess your current lifestyle and eliminate the unnecessary. Keep it slow and relaxing, allowing yourself time to reflect and plan. Tim explains that, more often than not, people can be financially free and have the freedom of time but still find themselves caught up in the highly stressful and money-obsessed culture of materialistic businesses. True freedom is much more than having enough income and time to do what you want. How to get ready for a mini-retirement. Consider your assets and cash flow. Identify your dream mini-retirement location. Choose a realistic location for your mini-retirement. Prepare for your trip. Here's the countdown. 3 months out, eliminate the unnecessary. 2 months out, automate billing with credit cards. 1 month out, redirect mail to a friend. 2 weeks out, scan and store digital documents of essential info, example, credit cards, ID, and insurance documents. Downgrade phone plans. 1 week out, decide on a work schedule while you're away. Put other belongings into storage. 2 days out, store car, add a thing to the tank to store fuel, disconnect battery leads. When you arrive, book to view apartments, 1 month only, go on bus/bike tours of the city. Adding life after subtracting work. But this is what I always wanted. How can I be bored? Tim explains that it's pretty normal to find it hard to adjust to your newfound freedom. Even though it's what you've always dreamed of, you may find yourself bored and wondering what to do next. If you are someone who loves chasing goals and reaching new highs constantly, it's going to be a hard adjustment. It's pretty standard, Tim explains, to find yourself asking the big questions about the meaning of life, your purpose, and the point. To combat the stresses this may bring, remember the following. If you can't define or act upon it, forget it. If you take just this point from this book, it will put you in the top 1% of performers in the world and keep most philosophical distress out of your life. Something Tim suggests you do when traveling and on your mini retirements is to learn something new. Decide to dedicate some time to a specific skill or activity, something you've always wanted to do but have yet to have the time, whether it be learning a new language or how to scoreboard. Top 13 New Rich Mistakes. 1. Losing sight of dreams and falling into work for work's sake, W4W. 2. They are micromanaging and emailing to fill time. 3. Handling problems your outsourcers or coworkers can handle. 4. Helping outsourcers or coworkers with the same problem more than once or with non-crisis issues. 5. Chasing customers, particularly unqualified or international prospects, when you have sufficient cash flow to finance your non-financial pursuits. 6. Answering emails that will not result in a sale, or a FAQ or autoresponder can answer that. 7. Working where you live, sleep, or should relax. 8. Not performing a thorough 80-20 analysis every 2 to 4 weeks for your business and personal life. 9. Striving for endless perfection rather than great or good enough, whether personally or professionally. 10. Blowing minutiae and minor problems out of proportion as an excuse to work. 11. Making non-time sensitive issues urgent to justify work. 12. Viewing one product, job, or project as the end-all and be-all of your existence. 13. Ignoring the social rewards of life. Conclusion. Key takeaways. You need to be effective and efficient. Doing more and spending more time on tasks does not make them essential. Avoid the interruptions, time wasters, time consumers, and empowerment failures. Automation and delegation are key. Get a virtual assistant, even if you don't need one yet. When getting ready to create a product, find the market and the customer first, then create a product for the defined audience. Wait to come up with the product. Take mini retirements throughout your life instead of saving them up until the end. The 4-Hour Workweek Book Review. The 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferriss is a revolutionary guide that challenges the conventional notion of work and productivity. Tim presents practical strategies and mindset shifts to escape the 9-to-5 grind and create a lifestyle of freedom and fulfillment. He emphasizes the importance of outsourcing, automation, and prioritizing tasks that truly matter. With engaging anecdotes and actionable advice, Tim encourages readers to redefine their relationship with work, embrace lifestyle design, and pursue their passions. The 4-Hour Workweek is a game-changing manual for those seeking a more efficient, flexible, and rewarding approach to work and life. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like and share. See you in next videos.